Yes, you're tuned into the Panel Pots podcast, where we touch on problems and issues that we face here in the UK cannabis industry and cannabis scene as a community. A voice for the people, bringing the community's issues right here. Stay tuned. Be part of the discussion. Let's change the game. Yes, people. Bless people. It's Pioneer. You're tuned into the Panel Pots podcast. But yeah, we're here to talk about the current climate when it comes to the UK cannabis market and how essentially the prices have influxed in certain areas. Today we're going to touch on hash specifically, primarily talking Moroccan imported hash, Spanish imported hash. And we're going back to the first lockdown, 2020, of the UK. You saw an influx in the hash prices by at least 50%. In some circumstances, it was even more than 100%, depending on who and where you sourced your hash from, essentially, when you was in the UK. And this is down to a number of reasons, really, some of which I understand and completely get, but then I don't get the current climate of the hash market, to where the points I'm going to touch on have completely switched back around and the market is in a much better place than it was in the first lockdown. So here's why I understand why the price influx was so high during that first lockdown period. So essentially, there was a worldwide lockdown, coronavirus. You didn't have people, lorry drivers and people working, essentially, and that goes within every field, whether it be the black market field or the legal market field. So there wasn't as much product coming in compared to how much demand there was in the UK, like due to the current climate, with people smoking 10 times as much as they usually would be doing because they are stuck at home. And when you're a smoker and you're sitting about, what you're going to do, you're going to smoke your stash. So now you've got people not working with a lot more time on their hand. So they're smoking a lot more product. And this wasn't something that the market had prepared for. So for instance, things like Christmas and New Year's Eve, you know that growers are timing their crops to be in time for that huge influx in the market, and time when people were sitting about, socialising, enjoying the holidays, not working. You know, it's a time of year, you know that a huge majority of the population in general are going to be sitting about, spending money on self-indulging and so forth, you know, treating themselves that bit more, treating other people. So that being said, the hash market is no different. When it comes to these sort of festive holidays and so forth, 420 and that, the hash market is no different. Suppliers need to make sure that they have got, if they know there's going to be an influx in demand at certain parts of the year where it peaks, they need to make sure that they've got the product to be able to supply that demand, essentially. And that's where we came into the problem that we had, where the prices soared. So if you've got a product that's in high demand, but the actual product is in low volume or is unable to be restocked or brought in, being an imported product, it becomes more valuable, like any asset or any commodity. Or any, like gold, for instance. If gold become super scarce, the value in gold would all of a sudden increase. So I completely understand why in the first and potentially even the second lockdown, with hash not being able to be brought in, with some of the methods that it is brought in by, and supply being so high, or so low, should I say, and demand being so high, it becomes a more valuable product. And that's not just the only reason. Coronavirus wasn't the only reason that impacted the hash market. The King of Morocco was also a very influential part in that influx in the hash market in the UK. See, this is how it happened. So the King of Morocco orders a cannabis crackdown because he has been accused of previously turning a blind eye to the illegal trades and tolerating cannabis exports, essentially. And Morocco being the biggest producer of hashish in the world, that I feel that the King of Morocco, being so anti-cannabis as well, feels he has to remove this tarnished quote-unquote image of Morocco when it comes to like cannabis tourism and it being synonymous with hashish, and they just want to give it a much cleaner look, if that makes sense. So they've implemented much tighter security measures at borders and at main locations where the export of hash from Morocco to like neighbouring countries and to Europe is coming in. And in 2020 was a year, I think it was like 36% increase in the seizures and interception of imported and exported products from Morocco, essentially. And this is because of the tighter security measures and the crackdown on the cannabis market over there, in Morocco being a multi-billion pound market. There is a lot of financial gain and money to be made from the war on drugs being committed by the King of Morocco at the moment. So yeah, there's a few reasons why I understand that the prices in hash has increased, but we all know that hash has been flooding the market again. Prices got a little bit better. It hasn't gone back to anywhere near what it was before, which is very unfortunate, especially for people that are suffering financially in these times, being furloughed, losing their jobs, a whole accumulation of things, And then to top it off, more so for medical users, but also recreational users and social users, the price has been still to now at least 50% increase. So we break that down. So if this, say for instance, a bar of hash was £400, so 400 Great British pounds, 50% of that is £200. So let's say now 100 gram bar is at around £600, give or take. Bit less, bit more, depending on who you know. But yeah, it's crazy, man, how much it's changed and how much it's in flux. It's like a cryptocurrency, but a physical asset. So, but yeah, I suppose you always got to take into account the risk involved for anyone that's involved in any form of distribution. And also, I suppose you've got to take into consideration the possibility of these people bringing it in and supplying us with this great hash, their losses and their L's they're going to take in interceptions and seizures. So of course that's going to influence the price they're going to want to charge. If they've just lost a container with a couple £1 million worth of hash, then he's going to want to make up for it on future orders, essentially, because it's going to primarily be the importer, the person who's going to either be over here or in a neighbouring country that is kind of middleman in it to get over here, that's going to take the L. And again, they're going to have to take all that into consideration. It's the same as the Cali game with Pax Guy missing. That's why Cali's so expensive, because they've got to charge that extra so that it makes it worth it if you do lose a pack. Do you know what I mean? And the whole risk involved if you do get arrested or you do get hit with fines when it comes to going to court. Like, these are things that people do take into consideration and should take into consideration, really. So yeah, that's my opinion on hash and the market and how it's gone since 2020 up until now in 2021 February. So yeah, again, I'm hoping that the prices come back down, make it more affordable for people. I suppose we will see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yeah, sending love out to the whole UK cannabis community, the herd, the canna community worldwide. That's the elephant out. Stay strong, stay defiant, stay safe. Until next time, much love.